Welcome to my first ever devlog. So, since the start of 2022, I've been working on a little game that I'm currently calling Presence. It's a 2D based tile strategy game with some roguelike elements, kind of akin to Binding of Isaac, Risk of Rain, those kind of games, where you go around exploring this randomly generated area and kill enemies, do things. We're working on the things part. The only problem right now is our game doesn't have a finished game loop. What I mean by a game loop is when you go around killing these enemies, exploring the world, you don't get anything for doing so. There's no reason the game gives you to explore and kill these enemies except to just do it, which obviously is not good. For a finished game loop, they need to do something and get rewarded. That's how you get the dopamine release in your brain, or serotonin, whatever you want to call it. And so we're going to be trying to fix that problem today by adding items and loot to El Video Game. So let's give it a shot, huh? The main way we're going to be giving items to the player for the moment is through chests. So when a player clears an area, a chest will spawn, and then that chest will give them an item. But before we can do that, we first have to make items, as well as a way for the players to see what items they have. So we have to make some kind of inventory screen that the players can access, and at least see for now, later interact with.
1 hour later.
After an hour-ish of work and coding, we have a very simple display that appears when you hover over both yourself and enemies, showing what they will have eventually. And after a quick shift at work and a shower, I went ahead and made some sprite art for the chest and a few items that the chest can give us in the game. Next up was the actual creation of the chest in the game, which was an interesting challenge between trying to figure out how to make it actually spawn and, give loot. It was a bit tricky. I ended up getting it so I can make a chest with a single line of code. The game does all the back work and then it just spawns a chest where you want it, which is awesome. Shortly thereafter, we made it so a chest can spawn after combat. The way we do that is when we look at the game board or the map, wherever you are in the game, if there's a number of enemies on the game, obviously the game detects that you should be in combat. And so, assuming nothing breaks, you're in combat. But as soon as that last enemy dies, every time a turn ends, the game checks, okay, are there any enemies on the board? If no, end combat. And if this is the first time you've visited this area, the game keeps track of that. It will spawn a chest. After making the chest, there were a number of bugs littered throughout, so I went on a bit of a hunting spree, several hours, just hunting down these bugs, getting the chest stable. But now that we've got the chest working, the probably final step for this devlog would be to add some awesome items that players can get from it in the game. While creating the final bits for this devlog, I did end up remaking the chest sprite because I didn't feel like the just pure box felt really good in the game, so I made it a little more curvy. In addition, I also made some assets for the display and updated that so it looks a little more official and like it should actually be in the game. Some small issues that I ran into along the way during this process is I had a hard time adding animated items to display when you get them, as well as in your inventory. I had to completely rework how I displayed items in the inventory display to make it work so you could see the animation. So that took several hours to fix. After a few days of work, everything is done for the devlog. I went ahead and added a number of items to the game. A few of them add various attributes to the character. Some I gave a few special properties like the flame blade, which will actually set your enemies on fire and give them fire damage over time. In addition, the chest is all ready to go and working as intended. So I'd say this devlog was a success. There's still a number of items I want to add, as well as update the display so you can actually interact with it, so you can use like health potions and stuff. But other than that, everything's good to go. So with a little more time, I should get that video done for you guys in the background. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did go to enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. That always is appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for the devlogs into the future, please tell me in the comments. This is my first one, and I'd love to make the next ones better and more enjoyable to watch for you guys. But yeah, with that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next devlog. All in all, everything you saw added into the game in this devlog ended up taking about 6 hours to add, in terms of making the art, the coding, the recordings, about 6.5 hours. So, yeah,